Hey guys, Dan Warpaint JKU. Welcome back to the channel. So you may have already seen my Best Top Trek Top video where I talked about the different configurations, showed you how the top works and a general review of it. But I've now had the top for a couple of years. I've put it through the ringer. It's been out in the sun. It's been exposed to the elements. I've even damaged it, ran tree branches over it, things like that. I've had to deal with their customer service. So let's get down with a 2-year review of the Best Top Trek Top. And let's talk about why I would definitely recommend it.
Big drop, Dan. Ooh, no bumper.
So, as you know, I live in southern central Texas. It's hot, all right? This past weekend I was out off-roading. You can go see those content videos. But this weekend I was out off-roading. It was 103 degrees. It's hot in Texas, okay? Even our winters are relatively warm, right? It's not uncommon that it's in the mid-70s on Christmas. So this top, while I don't have a lot of cold weather experience with it, I do have a ton of hot weather experience with it, and heat is definitely something that wears and beats on soft tops. And as you can tell right here, just straight off the bat, this top hasn't faded at all. The windows are still in great condition after a couple of years of being in the Texas sun. The top is still extremely dark. The fabric is very nice. Remember, this is the twill top, so it is the upgraded fabric. It's not the vinyl. But guys, this thing has been beat, okay? I am not easy on this thing. It does spend some time in the garage, but it spends a lot of time outside. It spends a lot of time on the trails. I got tree branches dragging down the windows, right? I'm not sure if you guys can see maybe some of these little lines through the plastic windows here. Tree branches dragging over the top. I'm constantly putting it up, putting it down. I have lived with this top on my Jeep. All right, had to dive inside the Jeep because one of the things that I really like about this top, and I didn't mention it in the last video, is the addition of extra headroom, okay? Now, my Jeep is on 40s. It's on the equivalent of about a 4-inch lift. So it's tall, right? And my garage door opening is exactly 7 feet. And this top, even with the added headroom over like a hard top, is able to still back into the garage. No big deal there. But having the extra headroom in here is kind of nice because when the top does heat up, just like it does in your hard top or on any vehicle, it keeps it a little further away from your head. So even me being tall, right? I'm like 6'3", 6'4", I don't feel the heat necessarily on my head anymore. Another really cool thing about it is it's not a fiberglass shell like a hard top, right? Noise level is a concern a lot of the time with these soft tops, especially anybody that has experience with the older soft tops or factory soft tops on these Jeeps. And Best Top really did it right with this twill. It's I don't want to say it's insulated, but the fabric is so thick that it absorbs a lot of the sound. So while the plastic windows don't necessarily keep the sound out as good as maybe a glass window does, certain noises are more prevalent, but there's other noises like wind noise that are actually a lot less, okay, than in your hard top because the road noise, things like that aren't in here rolling around inside of a fiberglass shell just echoing everywhere, right? So really, really cool. Now, the other thing, I'm going to spin you around real fast, is these pockets, okay? The addition of these pockets is amazing, all right? Best Top, basically the only zipper on this top, all right, we're going to talk about the windows in a second, is right here. This zipper is super thick. I use it all the time. You can tell how it's a little bit maybe stretched out, but it's not stretched out like your door pockets and stuff get. And we put things up there all the time. It's just a nice little added storage space, and it's super, super durable, okay? So yeah, there's another one over there on the driver's side, right? And again, you can tell, I mean, based on the top of the roll cage right there, right, the factory roll cage, how much extra room there is added above this. It's really pretty impressive. Now, I hinted at it a minute ago, but when you take your Jeep off-road on trails, plastic windows, especially on these old soft tops, were a major point of failure, right? People could push on them and you could almost break them and push them out. They got hard, they cracked, things like that. That is a non-issue with this soft top after 2 years of being out in the Texas sun, in the dirt, in the mud, hitting it with a power washer, washing it with a garden hose, rubbing tree branches over it. In fact, the only damage that this soft top has incurred over the last couple years is just scratches, right? Very fine too. I mean, none of these scratches, I don't know if you can really see them, maybe a little bit there. None of these scratches are actually deep. Nothing that like I would get my fingernails caught in. So to be honest with you, there's probably a product out there that I could safely rub on this and actually buff some of those scratches out. To be honest with you, I just don't care, because the second I buff them out, I'm gonna get more of them in there because I do use my Jeep off-road like they were intended to be used. Now, the other pro about this soft top, and something I'm extremely impressed by, okay, isn't the customer service. We're gonna get to that in just a second. But it's the windows, all right? And it's the way that they secure. As I said a minute ago, the zipper above in that storage compartment in the front, that's the only zipper on this top. So there's no point of zippers failing. They actually use this plastic track. Now, I mentioned that in my last video, but I didn't actually show it to you on the vehicle. This plastic track that goes all the way up right here, it gets basically, this gets kind of pushed into it and then clipped in. And that's what holds your window nice and tight on the rig, okay? It's really nice. Now, you can see how it's stitched here, right? It doesn't look like anything necessarily fancy, okay? You can even fold it over, right? There's a seam in there. You can maybe even see some stitching, right? Nothing too crazy. But I will tell you, all right, it was a stupid move. Totally my fault. But I keep my 40 in the back of my Jeep, right? You can see how I do that in this video. But I keep my 40 inside the Jeep, and that stops me from being able to see out my back window when I'm at the off-road park. When I'm home, it sits over there in the corner of my garage, right? I don't need the extra weight. I'm not going to get a flat tire clipping a curb with a 40, right? So I don't carry it with me unless I'm at the off-road park. But here's the catch. This soft top incurred some damage, all right? I backed up and I wound up backing up into a tree branch. Now, I knew the tree was behind me, but about 10 feet up, there was a branch, pretty big one, maybe about 10 inches around, 10 inches in diameter. Not around, right, but in diameter across. There was a tree that I backed up, and that tree branch came off and was going over the roof of my Jeep. No big deal, but I didn't realize there was a portion of that tree branch that kind of curved down. Make a long story short, I backed into it right here, crushed into the support bar of the soft top, crushed it in, and wound up tearing the soft top under this flap. Right now, well, Bestop wound up reaching out to me. They didn't wait for me to reach out to them. They reached out to me, and they offered to help me replace this soft top, which was awesome, right? They didn't have to do that at all, right? But they did, which says a lot about their customer service. But at the same time, I didn't actually replace anything. I didn't take advantage of it. Okay? All right, you can see here with the window kind of flipped up onto the roof and out of the way. This is why their soft tops rather are such awesome quality that I didn't even have to replace anything. Yes, I tore it, okay? But that flap covers it. It's never gonna get any moisture or water inside, all right? So that was the biggest thing. But it's not, because of where the tear is. The window survived. In fact, it's got a little scratch in it, but not a big deal. The frame of the top, I bent it. I bent it something awful, okay? But if you scoot in here with me, okay, you can see up here that this bar, all right, it basically runs through and it has this Velcro so that it hides it. This bar was pushed down into the bar up here on my roll cage. So what I did was I actually stuck a 2x4 under there and wedged a 2x4 and pulled on it and was able to bend this bar back because the tubing is strong enough to be able to be, you know, bent and bent back without breaking or kinking. And it still has its strength. It's amazing actually how strong it is, and the amount of pressure I was able to put on it with that 2x4 and get it to still bend back. It's pretty impressive. But the real thing that impressed me, guys, is the top. If you look straight up here, okay, this is where I ripped it, okay, and it ripped through the top. You can kind of see a little seam right there. It might be a little hard to see, but you can kind of right between my fingers, you can see the tear. That's the tear. It's about 3 inches long, and it not only tore, but it ripped the plastic part, okay, where it's sewn. You can see there's a stitching seam, and then it tears right on that seam where they stitched the track onto the top that helps hold the window in. But because of the quality of material and the quality of their stitching, the stitch didn't break. The actual top plastic part of the top broke, and it's like a vinyl type plastic. So I can tell that because of that quality, because of the quality of the stitching and of the material that they use, that rip is not going to grow. It's not going to get any larger. Even with the top flapping in the wind as I put my windows down and drive down the highway, right? So there really wasn't a reason for me to replace it, okay? It just speaks volumes that Bestop reached out to me to make sure that I was happy with the top. They reached out to me to you know, basically help me out with part numbers and reordering parts that I maybe needed to replace. At the end of the day, I didn't even have to replace anything. Guys, I highly recommend this top, okay? Not only am I able to fit my 40 in here with a slant back, all right, but the quality of this top, the quality of the windows, the quality of the material, the way it's put together, the fitment, it's just simply amazing. So if you're looking for a soft top, I highly recommend Bestop. It is light years ahead of the factory tops, and it's 10 light years ahead of the old tops that you maybe knew from older Jeeps like TJs and YJs and LJs and things like that. There's just no comparing it. Guys, it's fantastic. I was originally a hard top guy. I am 100% a soft top guy, and I'm a Bestop guy for life. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. There's a lot of stuff coming. This was a bonus video, but every week I have new content coming. We have builds starting. It won't always be Jeeps, by the way. In the future, we have some other stuff planned. Get on over, check out the Amazon store, right? That store is relatively new at the time this video is being made, but the benefit of that Amazon store is to basically get out there and recommend to you guys the products that I've used with good success, okay? I do have a couple of sponsors on my rig, and anybody that's been with me for a while knows that I only sponsor companies that I've used and had good success with. I'm not gonna sponsor a company I don't know. I'm not gonna sponsor a company that I haven't tested their product, and I'm not gonna sponsor a company that just sends me a sticker, all right? Notice there are no Bestop stickers on this rig too. So for those of you that think, you know, Bestop is sponsoring this, they're not. I'm just super impressed with them. All right. So get on over there because that Amazon store actually has products that I've had good luck with. So you don't have to guess on whether what you're getting is quality. It doesn't always have to be expensive. And sometimes the expensive stuff is still crap, right? So anyway, get on over there, check that out. Make sure you follow here and follow me over on Instagram where I interact with everybody, answer questions, things like that. And guys, thanks for the support. Be on the lookout for the next video.